A few days after Saturday's chaos, shall we say, is that a read the riot act kind of performance, or did you see enough good stuff in that second half to, cut the players a little bit of slack?
No, listen, it's neither, to be honest. It's like, we're here to win games. Although we had really good chances in the first half, as a home team, I didn't like how much Dundee United were enjoying the game. I thought they scored a good goal from their point of view, but from our point of view there was so much that we can do to avoid that type of goal. So at half time we're looking for the response, and with these boys that have always had that response, you know what I mean? Sometimes, you'd rather not have to always search for that from a losing position, but the performance second half for 36, 37 minutes, it was outstanding, it really was. And obviously there was a few stoppages and VAR getting checked, and then you run into 100 minutes territory, and the game elongates itself, and it needs that concentration to see it out. But there were so many positives for the game, and as I said after the game, nothing has really changed. I should be kind of going on about that and accentuating really how the positive impact of everybody in the second half. Davy Watson's quality with his 2 goals, Marley getting a goal, scoring off a well worked set play. So there was so much to be pleased about, to be honest. The second goal's a mistake. It is. I know it goes to VAR, but I actually think VAR, although we're on the wrong end, I think VAR arrived at the right decision. I didn't think it was a foul on Liam Polworth. There was a slight foul maybe from Sibbald on Liam Polworth before that, where he barges him out of the way when he tries to make a challenge. And I thought that would maybe be worth looking at, but I actually think the challenge that was in the box was fine. So you would maybe say VAR arrived at the right decision, and it's a mistake from a goalkeeper really in that instance. So that can happen. And up until then, when we've looked at the stats and we've looked at how the game was, up until then we were in charge of the game, and it was so good to see us being as strong as we were, and it was a particular performance, a Kilmarnock performance that we've been well used to here, particularly at Rugby Park. And then what happens in the end up, I think it's just maybe a consequence of the situation. We were just, everybody's desperate in the ground, the team, to win the game, and we take ourselves too deep from an 80-yard free kick, 10-15 yards inside their half. We're too deep with our line, we go into a zonal system which we would never normally do, and 3 players go for the first header, rather than just allowing one header, other 2 on the cover. And it's just that kind of exuberance and people trying to take responsibility. So in an adverse kind of way, it's admirable they're trying to be the one that deals with the situation, but we just need to be a wee bit calmer then. And I do think the penalty's soft. I still can't see anything other than Fraser Murray hitting the ball first, and I don't think he's went through the Dundee United player. I think he's went over. So I think I'm pretty sure if the referee doesn't give a penalty, VAR aren't get involved there. So we feel as if we've been harshly treated a wee bit of late, and we were so close to getting a really important win, and a win I thought we merited, particularly in the second half performance.
Just sounds like you just need to get breaking the ball effectively, and Robbie was sitting here saying that the players felt like it was a defeat. They got a point with how hard is it to pick them up?
But draws at home should feel a defeat. I think that's where I've always wanted that with my clubs when it draws at home should feel like a defeat. Defeat should feel like a death. It should be feeling that horrible feeling that doesn't shake. You don't lose until your next victory. And he's right with that, and we all felt that. It was a tough weekend, to be honest. But as a staff, it's my job to see why we lost the goals. It's also my job and my staff's job is to kind of accentuate the positives, and there was so many of that in the second half. I think there's been a lot of disruption to the back line for different reasons this season, through chop and changing with Europe, suspensions, injuries now. So that hasn't helped matters in terms of 1 or 2 of the goals we're losing. But all we needed in that last moment was just a bit of calmness, a bit of authority to win one header. One header, we win the game, we get the game done, and it's that how close we are to a brilliant victory. So we're not going to start analysing too much. I think it's important that the players reflect on what we could have done better, but there was also a balance about what was good about us, and we have to try and be that now. I think it's just us as a staff now and the players searching for that kind of 90-minute performance. We're never going to be good enough to dominate a Premier League team for 90 minutes, but we can still control what's happening for longer periods. And I just feel as though at the minute we're hitting such a good level at times, and then doing things that aren't us, and giving our opponents a bit too much encouragement. And we need to take away that encouragement for our opponents and stay on the job. And
you mentioned there about, you know, the players maybe getting carried away because it was that first league win of the season. You know, is that now becoming a thing, you know, in the dressing room? And
we're 6 games in. We're 6 games into the league. We've drawn our last 3 games in the league. We've drawn our last 4 games in all competitions. And each one in isolation is actually not the worst result in the world. Nobody's, you know, drawing with Hibs, drawing with someone away with 10 men, drawing with Dundee United. It's not perfect because we're used to winning games at Rugby Park. Drawing with Copenhagen here on the Thursday. So that each result in isolation, the draw isn't the worst result, but you can't have too many draws because you don't get where you want to get to. And equally, it's like just trying to make sure that, I think we'd all benefit of getting a win. We're only 6 games in. Although we beat Rangers first game of the season last year, we actually were quite slow out the blocks. Towards the end of October, we really found ourselves. So we know that those performances in us, we know the consistency's in us, it's just trying to find that now.
And looking ahead to Dundee, you know, we've got an international break coming up, so is that why you maybe try and get the 3 points in the bag and then you can maybe settle for a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think any time you get into a game prior to the break, the international break, it's important that you try and enjoy that break and enjoy that period, because we don't play for 15 days after that until we play Rangers. So I think for obvious reasons it's important. Dundee will be the same, you know, they're looking for that win to take them into the international break, and we're the same.
What I ask you about Derek Watson, how impressed are you with the kind of drastic impact he had in that second half, given he is still only 19?
I prefer his brother Davey. No, you're good. I really like Davey Watson. Derek Watson's got a bit today. No, David was, no, we explained the reason. I think it was tough to leave him out initially. We brought Brad back in. Initially, Kyle Vassell wasn't going to be playing. He passed a fitness test late on, and we were worried a wee bit about size and leadership and stuff like that. But Davey responded brilliantly. He came on second half at half time, and was just exactly what the game needed. We needed more contact through middle of the park. We needed to turn the ball over more, play the ball forward more. And his first goal shows, I think sometimes that type of goal will surprise people because the technique involved, and if that had been other players, I would have been waxing lyrical. But his second goal is a Davy Watson goal. Watkins goes near post, Vassell goes back post, and he splits the strikers, gets his goal. And it's a type of goal that his energy and his desire gets him into these types of positions. You know, and I think that those stats between 45 and 80 minutes that we possessed in that second half, playing in the attacking areas, penalty box entries, turnovers, winning duels, it was everything it was, and he was a huge part in it, to be honest. The good thing for Davey, I think Davey's going to have a good career, there's no doubt about it, as long as I've been a boot footballer long enough to see when I know a boy's going to do well. How well he does, what I think will be determined by how many goals he gets in a season. If he can be that running number 8 that can get double figures in a season, they boys are worth their weight in gold. You see that, you know, I think he does a lot of the game really well. He can handle the ball. He's decent in the air. He makes contact. He competes really well physically. He's always been able to deal with the physical side of things. But the thing that will separate him and where his career will go, I think, and what level will be being a goal-scoring midfielder, because they're so important for any team.
And you've worked with a lot of talented youngsters in your management career. Where does David rank amongst them? Yeah, he's going the right way. I mean, obviously, whenever you've put a youngster in your first team, regardless what club I've been at, there has to be a trust, and I do trust him totally. You know, I think he started prior to Saturday. I think he'd started 8 out of 12 games, so 2/3 of the games for somebody so young starting. I think he'd been off the bench in every other game, so there's a trust there with him that you know that he's going to play games and he's going to improve. There's also an understanding he's not going to be perfect at this moment in time, and there's still things he can tidy up on, like every player we work with. But as a youngster, he's got that important quality of real responsible, he's trustworthy, he knows his job. He knows what he can do.
doesn't dwell too much on what he can't do, and he just goes and set about the task. He plays football like he'd be playing for a juvenile team or playing for an amateur team. He just goes and plays because he loves the game, and I like that about him. He just plays what's in front of him. And as I say, the thing that highlights him and gets you guys asking me the question is the fact that he scores goals. You know, last year I think he got 5, and we've spoke about that, about trying to get those numbers up. 5 for a centre midfield player is very good. If I get 5 for every centre midfield player, we'll win Europe again. There's no doubt about it. But if we can get 1 or 2 of them towards double figures, and Davey's capable of that, then even better.
How is the squad looking ahead of Dundee? Do you have any update on the Stuart Finlay?
Yeah, he had the scan. Thankfully, it's not as bad as we maybe envisaged. So we got him off at the right time. And the good thing is we're still hopeful that he's got a chance for Saturday. So the only ones definitely ruled out is Joe Wright with suspension, and Kyle McInnes, who after the international break hopefully will be back in contention with things. So Liam Polworth and Stu Finlay, they've still got a wee bit of work to do to show that they're going to be fit for the weekend, but Liam Polworth took a wee calf knock, and obviously Stu had to come off with his calf.
And I know you've spoken about him before, but what do you make of the job Tony Docherty's done now? He's had a full season in management.
Yeah, listen, he's done well, and I think everybody recognises that. Obviously trying to go again is what he's after, but he's made some good signings there. He's been well supported, and as a friend, you just want to see your pals be well supported, get a fair crack at the whip with the clubs that are working for, and I think he's got that. I think he's got a good thing going there at Dundee. So there's no doubt we've got a tough game on Saturday.